So let's talk about day trading. That high octane world where it feels like fortunes can be made or lost in the blink of an eye. It's a place of massive opportunity, for sure, but also incredible risk. What really separates the pros from the rest in this super high stakes game?
Okay, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get into what the actual opportunity is, the intraday part. Then we'll cover the core principles, the rules you just can't break. After that, we'll peek inside the professional's toolkit. And finally, we're going to hit you with a very, very sobering reality check.
All right, let's dive right in. What is a day trader really trying to do? What's the fundamental goal when they sit down in front of their screens every single morning?
At its heart, day trading is all about making money off of tiny little price movements. Think about it. You buy a stock at, say, $10 even, and then sell it just minutes later for $10.05. Now, that doesn't sound like much, right? But the whole idea is to do that again and again and again all day long. Exactly. The strategy isn't about hitting one massive home run. It's about consistency. It's about stacking up a whole bunch of small, rapid-fire wins. Whether it's in stocks or currencies or even crypto, the goal is to have all those little victories add up to something really significant by the time the market closes.
Okay, so we get the goal. But to operate in this kind of fast-paced world, you absolutely need a strict set of rules to guide you. And these aren't just, suggestions. They can literally be the difference between making it and blowing up your account.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because these rules define the whole discipline. The focus is always on that short-term price swing, that volatility. But the absolute number one golden rule, you are flat at the end of the day. You hold nothing overnight. Why? Because you avoid the risk of some surprise news hitting while you're asleep that could totally decimate your position. It is the ultimate risk management play in a very high-risk game. So you've got the goal, you understand the rules. But what does it actually take to pull this off day after day? Well, as you can probably guess, it's a whole lot more than just having a trading app on your phone.
This right here is the fundamental challenge. In a market with millions of people all trying to do the same thing, you have to find an edge. You need some kind of unique advantage that lets you spot an opportunity before everyone else does. And to get that edge, pros rely on a pretty powerful toolkit of strategies and tech.
And it really comes down to these three pillars. First up is leverage, which basically means using borrowed capital to control a bigger position than you could with just your own money. Second is technical analysis. That's the art of studying charts and data to find patterns and try to predict where the price is going next. And third is momentum trading, which is all about jumping on an existing trend and riding that wave for a profit. But, it's about more than just charts. Information itself is a weapon. A real professional trading setup has multiple news feeds constantly streaming, with software scanning for keywords. In this game, getting a piece of critical news just seconds before the rest of the market, well, that can be the entire trade right there.
And this just perfectly illustrates the next layer of that toolkit. The pros aren't just looking at basic stock charts. They're using sophisticated and frankly very expensive analytical software to give them that edge. This is a serious, serious investment.
And we're not just talking about some fancier graphics. This kind of software can automatically spot complex trading patterns for you. It can use AI and neural networks to try and predict price moves. It can even plug directly into your broker to execute trades in a fraction of a second, completely taking human emotion out of the equation.
Okay, so we've seen the allure, we've looked at the strategies and the pro-level tools. It sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? But now we have to turn to the other side of this coin, the immense difficulty and the sobering, cold, hard reality for most people who give this a shot. Look, there's no question that online brokers and super easy-to-use apps from places like Robinhood and Charles Schwab have made trading accessible to pretty much everyone. The old barriers are gone. But, and this is a really big but, access does not equal success, not even close. And I want you to really let this sink in. This is a direct quote from our source material, and it's a stark warning. The reality is, for most new investors who try day trading, it ends up being a losing game. The odds are just fundamentally stacked against you from the very beginning. And here's why that is. When you click that buy button, you're not just competing against some other person sitting at their computer. You are stepping into the ring with high-speed, professional, institutional algorithms that can execute thousands of trades in the time it takes you to blink.
So this all leads us to one final crucial thought, knowing what you're really up against. These professionals with vast resources and cutting-edge tech. The question you have to ask yourself is this: are you truly prepared? Do you have the ironclad discipline, the significant capital, and a genuine, provable edge to compete at this level? Thank you for watching. If you got something from this, please like the video and support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. That really helps us. Thanks again.